Yevgeny Prigozhin, head of the Wagner group, which is the private army within the military in Russia and which has been leading the Russian push into Bakhmut, has now claimed complete control of Bakhmut. Prigozhin says that his forces now control all of Bakhmut house to house, and this is the claim that he has made. On the other hand, we do have an acknowledgement from the Ukrainian military that the position in Bakhmut is critical. A spokesperson for the Ukrainian military says that the claim from the Wagner group is not correct, that Ukrainian forces continue to remain in Bakhmut and to fight the Russian forces there. Hanna Maliar, the Deputy Defense Minister for Ukraine, says that Ukrainian forces still control some industrial areas and some parts of Bakhmut. This itself is an acknowledgement that the Ukrainians have lost control at least of much of Bakhmut, if not all of it. Over the past few days, Ukrainian forces had been claiming significant advances in Bakhmut. 200 meters advance one day, 300 meters another day in one direction, another, and there have been reports and claims that they have been able to regain some lost ground. But now this claim from the Wagner group and the acknowledgement from Ukraine that it has not been able to, at the very least, sustain that advance will lead to questions whether these gains could have been tactical errors, whether Ukrainian forces could have been lured into these advances only to be counterattacked and for them to have lost ground elsewhere in Ukraine. This would then, if claim from the Wagner group is correct, if this was to be sustained over a period of time and the facts of it established, this would mark a significant gain for the Russian forces, not because Bakhmut is considered of any great strategic significance, but it has become the almost symbolic post for control between the Ukrainians and the Russians. This has been the one scene, the one town where the fighting through this war has been most intense, most bloody, and the Russians have lost a lot of forces in Bakhmut, as have the Ukrainians. So if this now has fallen to the Russians as claimed, this will be a big blow by way of morale for the Ukrainians. It can, of course, also strengthen the Ukrainian resolve for a counter-offensive that has been planned for some time and that is being anticipated. The Ukrainian forces continue to strengthen themselves and rearm themselves and re-equip themselves for such a counter-offensive, and we are expecting that not too long from now. Ukrainian President Zelensky has said that this is not going to happen immediately, that the Ukrainian forces need to wait for some time before launching a counter-offensive, but he has said that it will not come too long from now. And of course, this now development comes as the Ukrainian president is meeting with world leaders in Japan through the G7 summit. The G7 summit has reaffirmed and repeated its resolve that it will stand with Ukrainian forces. The fall of Bakhmut, if indeed Bakhmut has fallen to the Wagner group, will not weaken that resolve. On the contrary, it may well strengthen that resolve for the global support at least from the NATO part of the world, to strengthen and to back Ukraine will now get more teeth, and Ukraine could get more arms and support than it has been getting so far, and this support has been increasing for some time. But Bakhmut has been a symbol of both Ukrainian defense and Russian advance. A change there will mean a change on the ground. It will mean a change in the diplomatic positions of both countries. This now is going to put the fighting now on a new footing and perhaps give it a new direction.